welcome back to Football Picks here at TalkingSports.tv. Marty York, handsome Howard Kamen, and then Uncle Ben himself of UncleBen'sFootball.com in his hotel room in Las Vegas. Okay, I'll say it, he's at the Wynn Hotel because he's friends with Steve Wynn, so I might as well mention that. Now, I want to talk to you guys, before I get your top picks for this week, I want to talk to you guys about a weird game that occurred last week. The Oakland Raiders played a late game Sunday night. I mean, even later than the Sunday night game. That was because the A's needed the stadium, and everybody knows what happened. The Raiders ended up playing the Chargers 11:30 Eastern time on Sunday night, and the Raiders looked very good in the process. Howard, you were in Las Vegas. It was only 8:30, just like it's only early for Uncle Ben right now. But you got to see this Raiders team. I know you put down a few shekels on the Raiders. I thought Terrell Pryor came of age in this game. I really liked the way he performed at quarterback for Oakland. Your thoughts about the Oakland Raiders at this point?
Well, I wouldn't get too excited about the Oakland Raiders at this point. I think they picked a good game to play great. I mean, it's a rivalry against San Diego. They played probably the best they could that night. They got off to a great start. Their defense set up with a turnover early in the game. They came and scored, set the tone early. And it just seemed like Phillip Rivers never really got into gear whatsoever, and Oakland hung on and beat San Diego. But I'm not going to jump on the Oakland Raiders bandwagon after one game like that and say they're a good team or a team to start looking to bet on. As a matter of fact, I still think the Oakland Raiders are a very suspect team. I think they have a lot of holes on that team, and I'm not sold on Pryor 100% yet, although he does look like he could develop into a half-decent quarterback.
Uncle Ben, the Oakland Raiders visit the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. The Chiefs, who are 5-0, are 9-point favorites in this game. I mean, yes, the Chiefs have improved. Can they cover this spread against Oakland, 9 points?
Well, personally, I disagree with Howard on that. I think the Oakland Raiders are on the right track. I think that Terrell Pryor has really added a lot to this ball club. Dennis Allen knows what he's doing out there. He's got a young quarterback who has legs to extend plays and create opportunities for their offense. And I do believe that the Oakland Raiders are a much better ball club this year. And get this, guys, the Oakland Raiders, the last time the Oakland Raiders failed to cover a spread in Kansas City, you have to go past the Romeo Crennels, past the Todd Haleys, past the Herman Edwards, back to the day when Dick Vermeil, that's right, Dick Vermeil was the coach of the Kansas City Chiefs in 2005. That's the last time the Oakland Raiders did not cover a spread in Kansas City. So I think the spread this week is a little high, my friends.
Yes.
I'd like the Oakland Raiders this week to cover that spread and possibly win the game outright against the Kansas City Chiefs.
I love that pick, Uncle Ben. I'm with you 100%. And don't forget, Howard, last week when Oakland won that game against San Diego, their best player, Darren McFadden, was not in the game. There's a chance he'll be back for this game. Is that correct, Uncle Ben?
Well, I don't think he will be back, but I don't think it's a factor in the game, really, because I think running backs are not that important a position in the NFL. The guys up front are the guys that wins the game for you in the trenches, not Darren McFadden, and he's always injured anyway, Marty.
I like the guy.
But I just think the Oakland Raiders play tough in Kansas City. Like I said, the last time they didn't cover a spread was 2005. That's a long time ago. They play well against their division rivals. This is a huge rivalry going back to the days of Hank Stram and John Madden coach teams. These teams hate each other, okay? And this will be a tight ball game. I certainly wouldn't take the Kansas City Chiefs this week. I do love the card this week. This is one of the late scratches off my slate. It's not an official pick at UncleBen'sFootball.com, but I do like the Oakland Raiders to win this ball game.
Okay, I'm dating myself, but I used to love those Kansas City-Oakland match of Lenny Dawson and Darryl LaMonica, a little later on Ken Stabler and Otis Taylor and Curly Culp.
Cliff Branch and Fred Biletnikoff.
Oh, yeah, Fred Biletnikoff. I mean, okay, that was a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to this game, Oakland-Kansas City. I agree that Oakland covers a spread in this game, Howard. Now, this is the moment all you folks have been waiting for, because now is when you get your free picks, your top picks from our two handicappers, Uncle Ben, who is out there in Las Vegas, and Handsome Howard, who is right here at Charlie Fitz Whiskey's in Concord, Ontario. Come by and see us here. Now, I'm going to start with you, Uncle Ben. You were 2-1 with your hot NFL picks last week, with your free NFL picks, I should say, here on Football Picks. Let's start with your favorite pick for this week. What are you suggesting?
Well, I don't have a favorite pick, as you know, Marty. I go with consistent dollar wagers. As I mentioned earlier, I like the Houston Texans, but I'm going to give you 3 other ones this week. But we're going to go back and forth with Howard. First of all, I like the Seattle Seahawks. They lost last week. They're coming back to the friendly confines of CenturyLink Field, which, nobody plays better at home than the Seattle Seahawks. And I mean, when I say they play well, this team plays really well at home. Russell Wilson's 10-0 as a starter at home, straight up. 9-1 against the spread in his career at home at CenturyLink Field. The Titans are 1-9 against the spread when losing on the road under Mike Munchak. And I just think that with Ryan, I'm a deer in headlights, Fitzpatrick quartering for the Titans, I say good luck with that. He's horrible. I like the Seattle Seahawks to win this one large. -13, I don't think it's a problem. Take the Seahawks big time this week up in Seattle, Washington.
So there you go. Uncle Ben saying, go ahead, lay the 13 points against the Tennessee Titans, take Seattle, and give up those points. Howard, have you got something that sticks out this week for you?
A lot sticks out this week, but one game I'm looking at right now that really sticks out is I like the Washington Redskins getting 6 points against the Dallas Cowboys, and I'll tell you my reason for that. I mean, Dallas came off a very, very high emotional game last week against the Denver Broncos. Tony Romo did everything he possibly could do to win that game. They came up short. They have to be feeling like just demoralized after that game. They got to, as much as you say, you know what, you got to get over it and get on to the next game. During practice this week, they got to be in their back of their head saying, you know what, we had the Broncos, we played well, we didn't win the game. On the other hand, Washington Redskins, which also you're talking big rivalries like Kansas City and Oakland. Yep. Washington and Dallas is a huge, huge rivalry from the days of Joe Theismann and Danny White and Roger Staubach. I mean, Washington and Dallas always play tight games. A lot of times, I like to look at the stats on that, how many times the Dogs cover in that particular game, whether they win or lose, cover the spread. So my pick there is take the Washington Redskins plus the 6 points against the Dallas Cowboys.
And take it to the bank.
Go to the bank, cash. you don't even have to wager.
Can I jump in?
Yes, sure.
Well, I agree with Howard. One of my favorite picks this week is the Washington Redskins as well.
Wow.
Dallas is a complete puppet show down there with Jerry Jones pulling all the strings, okay? That's why nobody wants to coach in Dallas. No big-name coach will coach in Dallas, Texas, because of Jerry Jones. Nobody wants to work for him that has a mind of his own. Anyway, I agree with Howard. The Skins are coming off a bye week. It's a huge game for them. It's much like the Detroit-Chicago game 2 weeks ago. And by the way, the Washington Redskins could still win that division. You know that the leader in that division is 2-3 right now, and the Washington Redskins are 1-3. So if they win this game, they'll be tied for the division lead, believe it or not, depending on what happens with the Philadelphia game. So it's a huge game for the Redskins. And by the way, the Hogs play pretty well, like Howard said, in Dallas. They've covered 6 years in a row down in Big D. They've also are 7-0 against the spread as a division road dog of less than 7 points. Dallas is favored by 6 in this one. And Washington is also 10-4 against the spread as a Sunday night football visitor and 6-2 against the spread as a dog on Sunday nights. Put that together with Dallas's horrible 1-8 straight up and 2-7 against the spread record in their last 9 Sunday night appearances under the lights. I say the Skins are in this game all the way, just like Howard said, and they're probably going to win it.
Wow. There you go, folks. There's a strong play for you. Both Handsome Howard and Uncle Ben are urging you to take, if you're going to make a wager, the Washington Redskins plus the 6 points against the Dallas Cowboys. I mean, that's making me think there's no way they're going to leave. You've been so hot yourself, Howard. Uncle Ben, we've been saying, has been hot. You've been on fire yourself. Who else do you like in the NFL this weekend?
I like the Monday night game a lot this week, and I actually like a team that looked terrible last week. I like the San Diego Chargers.
Wow. Against
the Indianapolis Colts, and 2 reasons for that. First of all, it looks like a very big trap line. It looks like the line where the casinos are saying Indy just came off, they beat Seattle, San Diego lost to Oakland. I mean, everybody's talking Mr. Luck there in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Who in the heck in their right mind is going to say that I'm going to bet the San Diego Chargers in that game? But as we all know,
You.
the bookmakers do not give lines that give free money away. So I think San Diego, after a pretty well terrible game last week, coming back home, playing Monday night in front of their home fans, a 1-point spread, I think they can win that game outright. I still not 100% on sold on Indianapolis. I think they came off a very big win against Seattle. Might be a little bit of a letdown game for them. Take San Diego at home Monday night.
There you go. What are your thoughts on that, Ben?
Well, I agree with Howard. I mean, Howard and I are really on the same page this week. Although I have another selection for the faithful out there, but
Go for
I do
it.
agree with that. We've talked about consensus betting quite a bit so far this year on this program, and I've noticed that all the action on this game is coming in on the Indianapolis Colts. The spread is up to 2, by the way, here at the Win Encore already. I guess by game time it'll be up to 3 for sure. I do like the San Diego Chargers in that game. We talked about fish spreads last week in Howard's absence. Marty and I did. And I believe this is a bit of a fish spread, like Howard said. The Colts have really done well lately, beating up on the San Francisco 49ers, beating the Seattle Seahawks, and of course they beat, I think, Jacksonville in the middle of those two, which everyone's beating Jacksonville, but they're getting a lot of public play right now, the Indianapolis Colts, and I think that Howard's right on with his prediction on this game. I would tend to lean to the San Diego Chargers on Monday night, although that's not an official pick.
All right.
I do like the San Francisco 49ers, though, this week, -10. They're playing the Arizona Cardinals. They're coming into San Francisco. Both teams are 3-2 in this game, and I believe that's where the similarities end with these two ball clubs. The best thing that ever happened to the San Francisco 49ers, and I said it last week, were those 2 losses in week 2 and 3. They got blown out by Indianapolis, and they got blown out by
Seattle.
help your guys. Who is it?
Seattle.
And then it was a huge wake-up call for the San Francisco 49ers. They got back to the running game last week. They're pounding the rock a little better, and I just see them against a division foe that's tied with them. I see the San Francisco 49ers mopping up and beating up on this Arizona Cardinal team that has no business being in this game. The spread is 11 points, and the bookies are dying, wanting you to bet on Arizona here. Take the San Francisco 49ers to mop up Carson Palmer. I see a pick here and a pick there. This week, the Niners win big.
Carson Palmer stinks. Howard.
My final pick of the week, and it's a team that lost last week. I always like to bet good teams that lose the week before, because good teams, well-coached teams that lose the week before tend to come off that game, bounce back, and play well. So I like the New England Patriots this week. They're playing the New Orleans Saints. New Orleans is undefeated, look unbelievable, but I still believe that the better team is the New England Patriots. They're at home. When do you get the New England Patriots at home and not only having to lay 1 point? I think also New England ran into a team last week, Cincinnati, that was very hungry and just got beat by a hungrier team. But I think New England will bounce back and beat the New Orleans Saints this week in New England.
That's a bold pick, Howard. That's a bold pick because you're going against a team that's undefeated, New Orleans. But I understand your logic. You explained it very well. Ben, any thoughts on that game before we take a break?
You know what, Marty? I'd hate to say it, but I agree with Howard again.
That's
Here
a
it is.
bold
We
pick.
talked about fish spreads. We talked about fish spreads a couple weeks ago. Here's a 5-0 team coming in, world beaters. They look fantastic with the Orleans Saints. Rob has done an incredible job down there with the defense. Their offense has always been solid, but their defense has been suspect over the years. Let's face it, that's what's held this team back. Now they're playing pretty solid defense. They looked very strong last week in Chicago. I do think that New England Patriots, having not scored a touchdown last week for the first time in I don't know how many weeks, although the weather was a huge factor in that game last week in Cincinnati. I don't know if you guys saw that game, but it was a driving rainstorm for the better part of the second half.
Yep.
And that really, New England really doesn't run the ball that well, so it really affected Tom Brady possibly more than it affected the Bengals. The Bengals have a better defense. But I do see that is a bit of a fish spread. I see a 5-0 team coming on the road, and they're favored. The spread started New Orleans by 3, by the way. Okay, it is down to 1, so some of the smart action is coming on to New England. And I do like the New England Patriots to win that game at home and not lose 2 in a row. A well-coached ball club, like Howard said. Bill Belichick, probably one of the better, if not the best coach in the NFL. And I think the New England Patriots will rebound after scoring a paltry 3 points last week and beat the New Orleans Saints as well. I agree with Howard.
Well, you know what, Ben? What's the stat? I'd like to get the stat on Brady and Belichick's record at home, straight up. Wins, losses, those two guys together at home. It's got to be over 90%, I would think.
Well, I don't have that stat handy, and I don't have the wherewithal to get it for you right at the moment, but I do believe that New England Patriots, playing on national TV off a 3-point performance last week, certainly they're going to put some points on this board this week, and I do like the New England Patriots to win that game.
All right, we're going to take a break. I'll give you guys a little stat to chew on for a bit. Brady is 0-3 versus Drew Brees in NFL games. 0-3 versus Drew Brees when they played in the NFL. They played each other in college, and Tom Brady's only win against Drew Brees came over 14 years ago when he was a senior at Michigan and Brees was in his junior year at Purdue. Just for you to chew on. But let's repeat the top
Wait
picks.
until Marty. I love that stat.
What the hell? Brady versus Brees. And right now, I got to say, Drew Brees is playing better than Tom Brady. I don't think there's any question about that. However, if you like New England, who the hell am I to question what you're both saying? And let's go back to now these picks, the top picks, free of charge for you guys right here on Football Picks on TalkingSports.tv. All you have to do is tune in, folks. All you have to do is tune in, and you get free picks from two absolute NFL gurus. And the first picks from Uncle Ben were Seattle, minus the 13 points over Tennessee, Washington, plus the 6 points over Dallas, and San Francisco, minus 11. He says the 49ers will mop up on the Arizona Cardinals. Handsome Howard also loves the Washington Redskins plus the 6 points against Dallas. He likes San Diego plus the 1.5 against on the Monday night game against the Colts. And he likes New England laying the 1 against the New Orleans Saints, who are visiting New England. And what's interesting, I think, also, is that Uncle Ben is supporting Howard on his top picks. So when you get both gentlemen saying, yes, I like these picks, folks, it's a no-brainer. Take those picks. I'm serious. You'll see what I mean when we're back here next week on Football Picks. Now, it's time to say goodbye to Handsome Howard. He leaves us. He's going to go have a couple of beers and mingle with the folks here at Charlie Fitz Whiskey's in I almost said Concord.
Vaughn.
In Vaughn. Hey, we're close. We're close. These are neighbors, Concord and Vaughn. For those of you watching in Texas and Tennessee and places all over the United States right now, this is just north of Toronto. If you're coming up, come on up. Howard will buy you a beer if you say you're from Texas and Tennessee.
Hey, Ben, I want to ask you a question. Is there enough money left in the casino there to pay you all your winnings this Sunday?
Well, you know what, Howard? We'll have to speak to the cashier's window about that, but let me tell you, it's only Thursday, okay? But by Sunday night, we're looking at a Brakes truck.
All right, go get him, kid.
All right, Handsome Howard leaves us now, but we're not finished by any means. No. We have the NCAA, and Uncle Ben's been hot in the NCAA as well. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.